if Donald Trump had started off this trade war out of the blue, imposing 30% tariffs on China across the board, we would of course see markets plummet. It's only because that the 30% is much better than the 145% that we were expecting. Also, I think it's really interesting and probably quite a smart strategy that Scott Bessent went into these negotiations in Geneva, really sort of clamping down on expectations, telling everyone, listen, do not expect any kind of deal to be announced here. Nothing major is going to happen. That'll also temper down the expectations as well. And then Trump coming out on social media saying, you know, we might get an 80% tariff on China, which would have been, by the way, a near embargo. What I think is also really interesting is that it's not just stocks that are doing well as a result of this, but other asset classes that have really suffered because of the uncertainty also doing up. So for example, doing well. Also, for example, so the US dollar, that's up about 1% or so right now. Gold is down, which tells you that people are feeling a little bit more secure about the future of the US economy. I'm not quite sure, Sarah, how long this sugar high is going to last, because there's just still so many unknowns. What happens when this 90-day period is over? That's one question I have. Also, if China if China actually really works hard to clamp down on the fentanyl issue, does that mean that that 20% tariff on fentanyl, does that completely go away? Also, what happens with intellectual property, for example? What happens with the ease of doing business for American companies in China? Is all of that going to be hammered out during the next 90 days?